Hello kids, I'm back again with my new video of class 7, chapter 9, English, a bicycle in a good repair. A man I knew proposed one evening we should go for a long bicycle ride together on the following day, and I agreed. I got up early. For me, I made an effort and was pleased with myself. He came half an hour late. वो आधा घंटा late आया. I was waiting for him in the garden. It was a lovely day. बहुत ही ज़्यादा lovely day था उस दिन. He said, "That's a good looking machine of yours. How did it run? ये चलता कैसे है?" "Oh, like most of them," I answered. "Easily enough in the morning, goes a little shittle after lunch." He caught hold of it by front wheel and fork and stood it violently. I said, "Don't do that, you will hurt it." I did not see why he should shake it. It had not done anything to him. Besides, if it wanted shaking, I was the proper person to shake it. I felt much as I should have to be started waking my dog. He said, this is front wheel wobbles." I said, "It doesn't it. You don't wobble it. It doesn't wobble. As a matter of fact, nothing worth calling a wobble," he said. "This is dangerous. Have you got a hammer? क्या तुम्हारे पास hammer है?" I ought to have been firm, but I thought that perhaps he really did not know something about the business. I went to the tool shed to see what I could find. When I came back, he was sitting on the ground with a front wheel between his two legs. जब मैं वापस आई तो मैंने देखा कि वो फ्रंट व्हील लेके आगे ग्राउंड में बैठा हुआ है. He was playing with it और वो उसे खेल रहा है. Twiddling it round between his fingers, the red end of the machine was lying on the gravel path beside it. He said, "It looks to me as if I am doing all wrong." I said, "Don't you trouble about it any more. You will make yourself tired. Let us put it back and get it off. इसको जहाँ था वहाँ पे वापस से लगाओ और यहाँ से चलो." He said, "We may as well see what it matters with it. Now it is out." He talked as though it had dropped out by accident. वो ऐसे बोल रहा था जैसे कि वो accidentally उसमें से साइकिल से गिर गया हो. But I couldn't stop him as he has unscrewed something somewhere and out rolled all over the path some dozen or so little balls. "Catch them," he shouted. "Catch them. We must lose any of the we cannot lose any of one of them." He was quite excited about them. He grovelled around for half an hour and found 16. He said he hoped we have caught them all because if not, I couldn't make a serious difference on the machine. I put them on safety in the hat. It was not a sensible thing to do, I admit. He then said that the while he was about it, he could see the chain for me. वो chain मेरे लिए देख लेगा. And at once began talking to the gear case. I didn't try to disgust him for that. I told him what an experienced friend of mine once said me solemnly. "If anything goes wrong with your gear case, sell the machine and buy the new one. It comes cheaper." He said, "People talk like that who understand nothing about machine. Nothing is easier than taking off gear case." I had to confess he was right. In less than 5 minutes, he had gear case in two pieces, lying on the path. He was groveling for screws. He said it was always mystery of him the way screws disappeared. Common sense continued to whisper to me, "Stop him before he does anything mischief. You have a right to protect your own property from the ravage of a lunatic. Take him by the scruff of neck and kick him out of the gate." But I'm weak when it comes to hurting other people feeling, and I let him mundle on. He gave up looking for the rest of the screw. He said screws had a knack of turning up when you least expected them, and that now he could see to chain. He tightened it till it would not move. Next, he loosened it until it was twice as loose as it was before. Then he said, we had made better think about getting the front wheel back into its place again. I held the front fork open and he worried with the wheel. At the end of the 10 minutes, I suggested he should not hold the fork. मैंने उसको बोला कि तुम fork मत पकड़ो and that I should handle the wheel. And we changed the place. At length, he did not the thing into the position, and the moment it was in the position, is burst out laughing. I said, what a joke. He said, well, I am an ash. It was the first thing he had said that made me respect him. I asked him what had led him to do this discovery. He said, we have forgotten the balls. I looked for my hat. It was lying topsy turvy in the middle of the path. He was of a cheerful disposition. He said, well, we must put back all we can find and trust to be Providence. We found 11, we fixed 6 on one side and 5 on other, and half an hour later a wheel was in its place again. It needed hardly to be added that its right did wobble now. A child might have noticed it. He said it. What do you do the present? What do you do with the present? I said, watching you do this is a real use to me. It is not only your skills that fantasize me, it is your cheery confidence in yourself, you inflexible hopefulness that does me good. This encouraged his set to work to reflex and worked from the off side. Then he stood it against the tree and worked from one side. Then I held it for him. When he lay on the ground with his head between the wheels, I worked as it from below and dropped him oil upon himself. Then he took it away from me and doubled himself across it till he lost his balance and slid over on his head. Then he lost his temper and tried bullying the things. The bicycle, I glad to see, showed spirit and subsequently proceeding degenerated into the little else that a rough and a tumble fight between him and the machine. One moment the bicycle would be on the gravel path as he is on the top of it. The next, the position would be reversed. He is would be standing flushed with the victory, the bicycle firmly fixed between his legs, but his trim could be short lived. By the sudden, quick movement, it would be free itself and turning upon him, hit him sharply over the head with one of his handle. At a quarter to me, at a quarter to one, dirty and disheveled, cut and bleeding. He said, I think that will do. And the rose and the wiped his brows. The bicycle looked as if it's always had an enough of it, which has received more punishment. It would have been difficult to say. It took him into the back kitchen where, so far as was possible, he cleaned himself. Then I sent him home. And this story is written by Jerome K. Jerome. I hope you liked it. Thank you.